Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hi, you guys. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, this stuff's always fun to look at. And so we have, obviously, we're looking at the Earth from above. And so this is SpaceX. SpaceX had a launch today. And yeah, I can see a curvature, albeit slight. But hell, it's a pretty big planet, right?
Yeah, it's pretty big. Mm-hmm.
So we see NASA astronauts successfully blast off into space on SpaceX rocket at precisely 3:22 p.m.
Things that make you go,
Well, some of you might say, well, what's so special about 3:22? Yeah, there's a lot about 3:22. 3:22 is actually a very fascinating number for many ways. President Trump and VP Pence looking on at the rocket launch going up into space. Yeah, very interesting as well. History being made there. Everything went very well. Very, very smooth. And very cool. And it does remind me also about a Hopi prophecy, which I didn't include on this one. But it does talk about something coming from the sky. Let's hope there is nothing that goes wrong.
Which is incredible considering all the things that had to be coordinated to make this happen at 3:22.
All systems look good at 11 minutes after liftoff.
11 minutes after liftoff.
Yeah, it should have been 11:11, right? So what's up with 3:22? Well, first, let's jump over to here. Genesis 3:22. Then the Lord God said, humans have become like one of us. They know good and evil. Right off the bat, the Lord God said, humans have become like one of us. That should tell you that this is not the creator of the universe talking. This is a different being talking right here. Because, there is only one creator of the universe. So it's interesting that it's said in the plural. And as we know, it's Elohim, which is in plural. And we could look at it as divine beings. But things are so twisted in so many ways. Very interesting, isn't this? This Genesis 3:22. And for those of you that want to look at it for yourselves again, Genesis 3:22, this is the NIV. And the Lord God said, the man has now become like one of us. Knowing good and evil, he must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever and be an immortal like one of us, right?
Yeah, very interesting stuff.
It's fascinating stuff. It's fascinating. And what's curious too? How about Colossians 3:22? Slaves, in all things obey those who are your masters on earth, not with external service as those who merely please men, but with sincerity of heart, fearing the Lord.
That's crazy.
So what is the opposite of love?
Fear.
Exactly. Fear is the opposite of love. So why should we fear the Lord? Why should we fear the creator of the universe when ultimately service to the creator of the universe is done through love? So again, this is the type of thing we should be meditating on and thinking about deeply. Interesting. That's Colossians 3:22 again. Very curious. Now, where else do we hear about humans as slaves? Well, we hear about it in the Anunnaki creation story, and actually we see it as we see these giants. One of them has his foot holding down a human that looks terrified and begging. Another human's got his neck basically roped and is being dragged around by this giant. And you see all these have their hands tied behind their back. And in fact, the Anunnaki creation story does say that humans were created to serve the gods. The gods, in plural. Again, it makes sense. And, if we look at, again, the Tower of Babel, mankind was united. And, they made a tower to reach the heavens. Is that what we just not did, maybe, with SpaceX and, sending something out into space again? We're building a way to reach the heavens. Come, let us go down there and scatter them and confuse their language so they can't understand each other. And many people believe that that was basically taking away our ability to communicate telepathically and locking us down and changing our DNA so that we are just 2-strand DNA beings as opposed to the original 12-stranded human. And we see the symbolism everywhere. They all see an eye watching us. Come, let us go down, because they're watching us. They're up in the sky and they're watching us. I had a really wild dream the other night, and I saw the earth, but it was like I was somewhere else looking at the earth, and the earth was about twice, maybe 3 times the size of a full moon, the biggest full moons you could see. So it was almost like I was on the moon, maybe looking at earth, you know, from their eyes or one of their eyes. Very curious. We know the symbolism. It's all around us. You know, Washington, D.C., it's completely put together in a very, very symbolic manner with all sorts of hidden occult meanings. And occult means hidden. You know, it's just that simple. These are things that are not taught outright. And I've walked by this building before many times, and this is Yale New Haven. I used to live about 12 minutes from there, and used to love to go to that area. Great food, restaurants, you know, Thai food especially, and some Indian restaurants. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm getting off on a tangent. But it has the weirdest vibe. You could feel the vibe. And so this is the Skull and Bones Society. That's the entrance over there to Yale and the Skull and Bones, as we see John Kerry and President Bush, members of the Skull and Bones, which has this skull and crossbones, 322. Why are they doing a pirate flag? Well, that's another whole video to get into too, but it was founded in 1832, and there's been quite a bit of notable people going through there, as we see President Bush, his father and grandfather as well, all Skull and Bones men, John Kerry, as well as other very, very powerful people come through these secret societies. And so they're believed to actually have the skull and some bones of Geronimo, and that's really an atrocious thing, to do rituals over somebody's body, and you know, it's so disrespectful in and of itself. And it's a society of Freemasons. It's an undergraduate, senior, or secret society at Yale University, New Haven, Connecticut. And very curious that they use that 322, and they have a painting of this up there. The fool, the wise man, the beggar or king, whether poor or rich, it's all the same in death. So that's found in the Skull and Bones headquarters. And when we look over here, we see ancient Babylonian draconian bloodlines. As you see, the Merovingian, the European royal families, and we have the Astors, the Bundys, the Van Duyn, the Collins, the Rockefellers. Oh, I've heard of that. The DuPonts, yes. The Onassis. You remember Onassis? Well, you remember Jackie O, right? President JFK married her Freemason. And then you have the Kennedys right there too. The Reynolds, the infamous Rothschilds as well, and then the Lee bloodline. So, you know, over in China there. And we see the Russell and the Disneys. So, you know, it's interesting how these things go. And the symbolism is obvious when the launch is at 322, and it's all about this stuff.
That is so in your face. I mean, it's like smack, smack, smack.
It is. And it's like they have to have it in our face. But so many people don't look. So how about gematria? Basketball, man. That's curious. Oh, I wonder if it has anything to do with Kobe's death. Maybe. But God of Israel. Lord himself. Michael Bloomberg. Wow. Red Horse. How about CRISPR technology? Isn't that curious? Burn Coronas.
Oh, looky there. Coronas.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The Scream. Oh. Now, there's a famous painting of The Scream. Satan's. Okay. The NBA Finals. That's really weird. Be careful. I don't know what it has to do with Henderson or Thriller. I don't know, Michael Jackson's Thriller. And I don't know who Hector Galang is, or the Camel Cup, Bluebird. The Elohim lineage, there you go. Lucis, Hitler, and the Enneagram, and dead Obama risen.
That one's really curious.
Yeah, it's super, super curious. Elections, will they come to pass? Well, I mean, if we have riots, martial law, will the elections come to pass? What if there's war with China? Will the elections come to pass? So this is really Shrekism. Is there such a thing? Disorder we see going on right now in chaos. And then we see the angel number of 322. And if we look a little bit into this, it's a combination of influences and vibrations of the numbers 3 and 2. Number 2 appearing twice in this number amplifies its strength. The number 2 appearing twice also creates a master builder, number 22. So gives it the energy of this number as well. 3 symbolizes manifesting and manifestation, which is part of why they're doing all this at this timing. It's all about manifesting. So creativity, self-expression, abilities, gifts, talents, progress, communication, sociability, friendship, growth, expansion, increase, optimism, joy, and happiness. Number 3 also resonates with the energy of the Ascended Masters, signifies their presence in our life and readiness to help manifest our desires as well. They know how to use the powers of the universe. They understand the programming of the universe, because it is programming. It's not to be feared, so to speak. It's to be understood.
Very much so understood, and they know how to utilize it.
So as a blend of these influences, number 322 symbolizes discovering and serving your soul path and mission in this life. It also symbolizes gaining knowledge of the ancient wisdom, cooperation, compromise, adaptability, serving others, and it goes on. So very, very fascinating that we have this NASA launch at exactly 3:22 p.m. Very curious.
Super curious, guys.
So guys, thank you so much for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. You guys have kept us going in these times, and we thank you for being part of our family. As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.